Thank you, Blessing Eche, for that sensitive one on mental health. And as we take a soft pedal on the issues concerning the pages of the newspaper, we're going to be quickly going straight to the discussion for today. I did say we're going to be looking at EDO in perspective, the debt profile and infrastructural development. And joining me on this sensitive topic is the special advisor to the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, on media projects, Crusoe Osage. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Philip, for bringing me here.
All right, quickly, let's look at the issues concerning the debt profile. We had reports by the Debt Management Office that said that the debt profile of Edo State has reduced. And we also saw reports in the second quarter as released by the National Bureau of Statistics, where Edo was third, among the states that were most indebted. We had Lagos, which was $1.27 billion indebted. And then we also had that of Kaduna, which was $586.1 million indebted. And Edo State had $268.31 million indebted. Now, what factored the trimming down of the debt profile just now, as we have it released by DMO in the third quarter?
Well, that statistic you just analyzed was was before 2016.
Okay.
Before we took office.
Okay.
So before we took office, the state government was owing external debt, internal debt, and was standing at number 3 on the list of most indebted states in the country. But as it stands today, we have Obaseki has so managed the debt profile of the state, has so reduced the debt profile to the extent that now we are number 19 on the list out of 36 states. So imagine from 2016 to 2022, we have been able to move away from that risky position of being number 3 most indebted state in Nigeria to number 19 most indebted state in Nigeria. What is good about these figures is that you can't say we rigged it because it's from the Debt Management Office. Debt Management Office is a subsidiary, is a parastatal of the federal government, which is run by the All Progressives Congress, APC. We are in the PDP in Edo State. So if it was even possible for them to turn it around, they would have. But it is what it is. Obaseki has managed the economy of Edo State very well. Obaseki has managed the resources coming into Edo State very well, and we have moved down from number 3 most indebted state in Nigeria to now number 19.
Okay, let's look at because with this report, it shows that Edo State government is even qualified for more access to loans. But is the government having prospects in this direction?
Yeah, we just don't jump to take loans. That's how many states got so indebted in the first place. You have to, have a clear use for the funds you're looking for, and you have to have a plan that ensures that loan can be repaid. For example, you find an infrastructure need that is reducing the rate at which the people in that area can make their own contributions to the revenue of the state. For example, let's say the road to a farm is bad, and therefore the farmers there cannot bring their produce to market, and therefore they cannot sell, and therefore they cannot pay the revenue that they would have paid in the marketplace, that there are little taxes that would come to government. If you fix that road that leads to that market, that means more farmers are able to bring their produce to market.
Of course, yes.
That therefore means they can trade more. And if they trade more, therefore means they can pay more to government coffers. Then that would be a good investment. For example, if you don't have the monies within the state government to do such a road, you may want to now go to the debt market and look for funds to finance that infrastructure, because you know that infrastructure has the potential to increase the revenue flow to the state, and therefore it makes it easy for you to pay back that loan. But the way loans were taken in the past by many governments in Nigeria, they just didn't care whether these loans were going to be paid back. They just didn't care what the projects were that they were going to use the loans for were about. They just got the opportunity for loan, put the papers together, got the money, spent the money anyhow they wanted, and then such states sank into serious debt.
Okay, you just give me an appetite to quickly double into infrastructural development, like you made mention of it firstly, and let's look at the aspect of infrastructural development in Edo State. And Edo State citizens and indigents and residents are yearned, immediately the take off of the government of Governor Obaseki, yearned for the governor to even surpass that of his predecessor. So, but where are we at the level of infrastructural development across the state?
I think we've done very well. The only thing is, in Nigeria, the governments that get the most bashing for performance, for development, are governments that are already performing. So many states in Nigeria where nothing is happening, their citizens are dumbfounded, they can't even say anything. But in states where some work is being done, you find that people are agitating for more work. It's just so simple. A reporter in EBS that gave me the analogy one time when I had an interview with them. And he said, it's just like a parent who has 10 children and has 3 pieces of candy, sweet, in his pocket, and then brings out the 3 pieces and say, okay, the senior children, you cannot take now because we don't have enough. Last child, take. Second to last, take. Third to last, take. What's going to happen to the other 7 children? They're going to agitate and say, Daddy, where's my own sweet? I need my own sweet. So exactly what's happening in Edo State. We've done quite a lot of infrastructure, but the more you do, the more the people know that you have capacity to do infrastructure for them, the more they yearn for infrastructure. So you find that the decibel of noise about infrastructure is high, primarily because Edo State government, under the able leadership of Governor Obaseki, is doing a lot in infrastructure. Okay. So when you do a road, for example, in Ekenwa, then immediately everybody in Ego.
Of course, my mind was going there.
Way my own, if you do another one in Ekosodi, the people in Seahall will say, you have done Ekosodi, where's our? But if we were not doing anything at all, everybody will just be waiting, okay, let's wait for this government to go so that we can elect another one. So I think the reason why we have a lot of noise coming out on and around infrastructure is primarily because they see a government that is committed to their well-being. They see a government that is already doing some infrastructure. They want more. And so we understand the yearnings of the people. We continue to push as hard as we can to do more. But let me just say that it's not like we have been perfect as far as especially road infrastructure is concerned. We've had challenges there. I think in the last 12 to 18 months, there was poor planning in the Ministry of Roads and Bridges, which led to a recent reorganization of that ministry by the governor, and that made us lose one rainy season, and we didn't do a lot of rehabilitation and construction in one rainy season. And because it rains a lot in Edo, when you miss one rainy season, it looks like you've lost a big chance.
It could cause a setback.
Yes, so that's why the governor has personally taken over road rehabilitation and construction in the state right now. He's directing it directly by himself. He has assured, and I'm assuring Edo people, that in the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to see very remarkable improvement in road,
being that we are in the dry season.
Exactly.
Okay. Now there's been a lot of issues, and it's causing ripple effect as it pertains to infrastructural development vis-a-vis the 13% oil derivation backlog payment to Edo State. And we had reports which also showed the figure that was given to Edo State, and also the governor, even via your office, said a lot has been done and it was judiciously used. But though people are agitating, or let me not use the word agitating, they are asking questions about how was it utilized and what measure of utilization got to specific projects. Could you say that? Because I know there's an essence that which I will ask you questions in that regard, because you are not a commissioner in that regard.
I have information.
All right.
Now, first and foremost, it's good to put in proper perspective exactly how much monies have come to Edo State as far as this 13% derivation is concerned. A certain governor in the South who made the allegation widely without putting perspective to the issue, and made it look as if like he has received humongous sums in his state, as if every other South state got the same humongous sum. But I've explained time and again, even in this station, that the different states get varied amounts from the derivation. For Edo State, with respect to the funds that Wike spoke about, we've only received about 2.1 and some fraction billion naira, and that money came this year between October and now, so that's 2.1 billion. Okay. And suffice to say that is just about 2% or 3% of our budget for the current year 2022 that is now going to end. Then if you expand the receipts from the federal government from a statement that came from the office of President signed by Garba Shehu, you find that the total monies they say there has come to EDO comes to about 21.7 billion within 24 months. And if you also calculate 21.7 billion within 24 months, you find that it's still less than 5% of the budget within 24 months. Because this 2023, for example, we have a budget of 320 billion. And this outgoing year, 200 and something billion. If you combine that, you have over about 600 billion. So if 600 billion, 21.7 is just a fraction, just like 5% or around 5% of that amount. So just to let you know that these monies are talking about are not eclipsing the budget. They are not monies that are so big that you cannot fit into the budget of the state. So all these monies we have spoken about have been channeled through the state's budget during this period to attend to the different infrastructure, social amenities, and so on and so forth in the state. Okay. In Edo State, we have what we call irrevocable standing payment orders for contractors. And these monies that are used to fund these contractors come from the budget. And a component of this budget is what we just spoke about, which is receipts from the federal government.
Okay, thank you for your articulation. In case you're just joining us as this morning on ITV, and I'm speaking with the special advisor to the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, on media projects, Crusoe Osage. Let's look at the revenue of the state. I believe it is buoyant enough for us to have a trimmed down debt profile. But questions have been asked about. You may mention the fact that, well, there's going to be a very huge step taken by the state government in this dry season, to look at infrastructural development. But questions are also being asked. What areas are we going to be having this development? Like, you agree with me that we've not really got it right yet in terms of our third-tier government, the local governments. And so could it be that the revenue that Edo State government is having at present is buoyant as a result of other revenues coming from other places, from local areas? What is the size or buoyancy of our revenue in Edo State?
Yeah, Edo State earns an average of 3 billion every month in IGR, internal generated revenue.
Wow.
So if you multiply 3 by 12, you have an idea of how much we raise from IGR on average, every year. So yeah, it's good revenue, but I don't think it's sufficient. The governor is working around the clock to further boost our revenue collection, because if we don't increase our receipts, in terms of IGR, we're not going to be able to do much more, developing the state for our people, because on a continual basis, the inflow and receipts from federal government, from Abuja, it keeps going lower and lower. So the only hope for states in Nigeria is that you develop your economy in such a way that your economy can generate the resources you need by way of revenue to run the government. So yes, we have grown our revenue substantially, but we need to grow it even more to be able to do a lot more for our people.
Okay, let's look at the aspect of managing funds. And you mentioned the fact that the statistics I brought about just now was in 2016. Yes. In the course of the administration of Godwin Obaseki, has there been any borrowing?
Of course. Okay. There's been borrowing. I may not have the details because I will need to approach the finance ministry.
Of course, yes, I know that.
The figures are actually out there, even in the debt management office. These figures were taken into consideration before the report that was released a week or 2 weeks ago, which placed Edo at 19 out of 36, down from 3. These figures were taken into consideration. Well, no reasonable government will run without taking advantage of cheap credit to develop its people. And there's a lot that we need to do for Edo people, and all the money we have by ourselves at this point in time may not be able to give us the kinds of infrastructure, the kinds of improvement in education, the kinds of improvement in healthcare, kind of improvement in other segments in the country that we need at the moment. So what you need to do is to understand exactly what value you want to bring to your people, and then source for funds from usually multilateral agencies. We go to the international market to borrow because most times their rates are more predictable and more and more, and more stable.
Okay.
In the local market, sometimes the rates can be very varied.
Okay.
Even though now in the international market, you also have the challenge of foreign exchange variation. But their rates are lower. Sometimes they have moratorium for many years, and then it gives you the time to use that money so that before you get to the time when you start paying, you're already receiving returns from that investment.
Okay.
Take note that I explained just now that you must ensure your borrowing is going to spur development and improve the chances of your people to remit back to government. You understand? For example, if you spend the money, if you borrow and spend some of the money in education, which we have done, the World Bank has supported the EDO Best program, for example, and young children who go to primary school in Edo State are now being trained using technology, tabs, improved pedagogy. If you go and check a child in Edo now, who is say in primary 4, primary 5, they are going to be perhaps sharper than children from other states that are at the same level with them. What that portends is that they're probably going to get better chances in life to do well. And when they get better chances in life to do well, what happens to the economy? If they remain here, they will contribute to the economy. Even if they live here, most of them, their parents are here. I was working in Lagos and remitting monies to my parents in Benin after I finished my university in Edo State here. I have siblings who live in America, who live in England, who remit foreign exchange to Edo State to look after my parents. Some of them bring back monies to build houses. Some of them bring back monies to set up businesses. So you find that these monies invested in these people by way of education through funds that were borrowed is what is now returning investments back to the. So what is important is how well you're able to dimension the areas where you need to channel your borrowed funds and how well this money is channeled, and then therefore you can get returns to pay back these loans.
Okay, let's quickly get the call lines open. The number to call us is 0708 365 1320. 0708 365 1320. And we must urge you to be civil in your presentation, or otherwise you won't have a seamless conversation with us, because we just have to ensure civility is imperative on this show. 0708 365 1320. Hello, good morning, caller. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and join the conversation.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's the name, please, and location?
Okay. My name is Selector Samuel. I'm calling from GRA Ekiti.
Okay, what contribution do you have on this?
All right. I want to commend the Honorable essay to the Governor on Media Project. Pastor Kusu Saidi, I have been listening to your illustration about the achievements of the Governor and how he has been able to manage the resources of the state in the best interest of the people. I must commend you. I must also thank the Governor for developmental strides in the state. And I will assure you that as long as the state is concerned, we are moving in a progressive line with the Governor. Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. That's the contribution I have to make this morning.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. The number is 0708 365 1320. Join us in the conversation as we x-ray Edo State on debt profile and infrastructural development. What's happening to the Gele Gele project?
Yeah, the Gele Gele project is active and ongoing. Like I explained here in another program recently with Water, I tried to explain that these projects are done with serious dependency on the federal government. Reason being that the rights to set up a port, a river port in Nigeria, rests firmly with the federal government. And so it's the federal government that now vests these powers on a state that is interested. So there's a lot of regulatory approvals you have to get from the federal government. For example, you have to do several surveys. You have to go to the Federal Ministry of Transport. You have to get several studies around the areas where you're doing it. You have to get several approvals from the federal government. So a lot of all these are active and ongoing. Then apart from the setting up of the port itself where the ship will berth and do business. There's also a lot of other ancillary activities that must happen in a location where you're going to set up a river port. Okay. For example, you have to have security because ports are open to, to access from outside, because I mean the sea is a vast place. So to have a river port, you must have security. And if you go to the place where the Benin River Port is being set up, you find that we've already established a marine base there. We have gunboats, we have a residence for the police people who are going to be manning the place. So all these ancillary things are being done while we wait for the complete approval of all the things that we need to carry on with the project. Okay. You find that Ekene Road is being constructed. It's also part of the plans to ensure that the port can survive, because once the port is active, then there's going to be need for good roads from where the goods are going to be cleared from there will be funneled out of the port. We're also working on the rail line, and so on and so. So a lot of ancillary things that are essential for the success of that river port project are being handled as we speak. Okay,
let's take another call. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, and kickstart your contribution, please.
My name is Chibuzo. I'm calling from Obaze.
Your name is what? Hello? Hello, talk to me, please. Okay. You said your name is Cinda. Chibuzo. Okay, calling from Obaze.
Yes, from Obaze.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution, please.
Let me add more effort. Let us add more effort for what all the things that he's trying to do. The man is doing because if other words people is talking about him, talking a lot of the man is doing this, he's a brilliant man, he's a man who knows what he's doing. So we thank you for whatever he's doing at Obaze now. We thank you very, very much. I feel like we congratulate what he's doing.
All right, thank you, Chibuzo, for calling. Yes, on the project in Obaze.
Yes, you find
all right.
Chibuzo is happy because his project is being done in Obaze.
Okay.
But I'm sure the people in the next street whose projects have not started are going to, because of the project going in Obaze, going to say,
also agitate.
So that's the interesting conversation back and forth in development.
Okay. Let's take another caller. Hello, good morning, caller. Okay. What is happening concerning the possible? Okay. Can we say conclusively that Gele project will be concluded before the termination of the administration of Godwin Obaseki?
In this government, we do not say what we cannot ascertain.
Okay.
Like I said, there are a lot of moving parts that are not entirely under the control of Edo State government. If all these regulatory requirements that we need to get that port fully ready and active, if they were all dependent on Edo State government, then I can give you a clear declaration. But a lot of these things depend on different agencies in Abuja. So you have to get clearance from here, you have to get clearance from there. There's an extent to which you can make predictions when all the variables required for the achievement of that goal are not dependent on you.
So by this, you are saying that there could be political setback because of the party in power at the center?
No, I'm not saying it's the party in power that's in question. I'm saying whoever is...
The bottlenecks.
Yeah, you're not able to tell whether these are political issues. Sometimes they say it's workload. Sometimes they say, I'm just saying that a third party is substantially responsible for the approvals that we need to complete that work. And to the extent that we are not those people, we cannot say for certain exactly when that project is going to finish.
Okay.
So I cannot say categorically that we can finish that project before the end of this administration.
Okay.
But I can tell you that the project is active and alive, and we are putting a lot of effort to ensure it happens. Once we see the fine lines and the end points of the project, we'll also be able to come to you and tell you that this is what's going to happen. In this government, we try as much as possible to reduce the influence of politics, where people just say all kinds of, make all kinds of claims. Say, I will do this, I will do it, I will pay all the school fees, I will iron all the clothes, I will tar all the roads.
Or build bridges where there are no rivers.
We don't do that.
Okay.
We tell you exactly how it is.
All right. Now, a lot is also coming from residents in areas like Uwelu axis. You know, we have the spare parts market, which is a huge revenue, you know, for the state government. And we look at the aspect of Ebotubu market, you know, and the Ekewan Road. How speedy can these projects be done, or is Uwelu Road captured?
Well, Uwelu Road has been designed. I don't think it has been awarded yet. I'll find out. But it's part of what I've been saying. Everybody deserves the best access to their businesses, not just Uwelu Road. In Kyosa, in New Benin, in other parts of the state.
Yes, of course. Edo Central, Edo
resources are scarce. There is no way everything can be done at the same time. Whether we want to accept it or not, this is just what the fact is. But this governor continues to push the boundaries and continues to try to do as much as he can for the people. But we will not delude ourselves and we will not deceive anybody.
Okay.
We cannot finish everything within 8 years.
Okay. We have another caller. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Okay, your name and location and join the conversation.
That's Mohammed.
Mohammed, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from the EDO state.
Okay. Join the conversation.
Thank you very much. That honorable stay with you there.
Yes, please. Thank you,
sir.
They
cannot finish everything. They cannot promise everything. But when your government, they come this state, they promise heaven ahead before we vote for him. But that's a Ekewan Road. Are you going to do your 10 or 10 finish the Ekewan Road?
Let him go. Oga, you also promise your children and say you build house for them. How many you don't build for them since when you promised them? We all have aspirations, we all have plans, we all make projections, we all have things that we want to achieve, and we make good efforts to achieving these things. I have promised my children fantastic things. I have not been able to achieve all of them. Doesn't mean that I don't want to. You know, this man that just spoke, I'm sure he promised his children he will send them to school, to Oxford and Cambridge, or maybe he promised that he will build a big fine house for them, or even promised a bicycle, that you will buy them bicycles when they do well in school. But at the end of the day, what you do is what is your resources will allow you to do, and what you do is what time will allow you to do. We made a lot of promises. We didn't promise heaven and earth like he said. Our promises were clear. We had a program, the mega agenda, and the things that we plan to achieve. We are pursuing those things. We have achieved significant amount of those things. There are still a lot we have not achieved. We cannot delude ourselves and we cannot deceive the people that we will be able to do everything that Edo State needs within 8 years. It now rests with Edo people to ensure that in the next elections, we elect another credible person like Obaseki to continue with the plans that we have started. You don't forget that we have what we call the 30-year development plan that was designed for Edo State, part of which we are already dealing with. By the time we are leaving office in 2024 November, we hope that a good government will also take over from us and carry on.
All right, thank you very much, Kruso Osage, for taking time to be part of this. Well, we're gonna be extending the frontiers of this discussion after this break. Do stay.